federal government has passed a law, and that law says that they are going to dictate an insurance plan that you are going to be forced to purchase with your own money. That does not take into account what you may need in your own insurance plan or whether or not you can afford it. You are going to be forced to buy it, and if you don't, you will be fined on your tax return. And if you do not pay that fine, you will be subject to imprisonment. Now, this doesn't sound like America, but that is basically what the federal law does. Now, the Missouri legislature did not stand idly by and just let this happen. Like 42 other states that introduced a bill similar to ours, we stood up and we said, we are going to pass a law that says you cannot mandate, you cannot fine Missourians, and if you do, we are going to protect our citizens. And what we have done through the legislature, I'm proud to say, in a bipartisan way, passed a proposal that will then let citizens like you ratify at the polls on August the 3rd. August the 3rd, many people have called the most important vote in the entire nation. It will be the first vote in the entire nation on Obamacare. And so that's why we have done this. Everyone will be watching us, and what this basically will give you, if this is ratified by you on August the 3rd, it will protect your rights as individuals and employers to pay directly for medical services of your choice without fines or imprisonment. It gives Missourians the right to use their own money to pay directly for health care services. Isn't it weird in America that we even have to talk about this? It just seems so inalienable. We believe it is. Because when government controls those dollars, government makes decisions that is good for government, not what is good for patients. I want to give you a little bit of information on what you're going to hear in the press as this moves forward in the next few weeks. This campaign moves forward. There's some misinformation out there. This is not an opt-out program, as many are calling it. It expands your choices. It does not limit them. If you want to choose the federally approved plan, you can still choose it if this passes in Missouri, but you can also choose nothing, or you can choose whatever you want. It expands your choices. It does not in any way impact any federal safety net programs like Medicare or Medicaid. Those will not be impacted at all by this measure. It is not meaningless, as some people say. This will authorize Missouri's Attorney General to defend Missourians against these mandates and against the penalties. This election on August 3rd, we specifically identified that it would be August 3rd because it was an election that was already taking place, so this will not cost taxpayers one additional dime to go to the polls on August 3rd. You're getting it for free for what you would have already had for that election. Some people are saying, usually reporters editorialize, that federal law always trumps state law. That is absolutely inaccurate. There are numerous cases around the country that have gone to the Supreme Court that the state trumped the federal law. This will set up a conflict between our state laws and the federal laws. Eventually, it will work its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. My husband is an attorney. Every attorney has a different opinion on this thing. Reporters have a different opinion, but there are only people, justices sitting on the Supreme Court, that are going to be making the decision as to whether the federal government can require you to buy something with your own money that you are unwilling to do, or whether you can't. And in my opinion, it is about time that we draw that line in the sand and make sure. I want to point your attention to our booth, the Healthcare Freedom Act booth. Where are we? Just somewhere. There we go. Thank you. Nobody's standing there now, but that's it. They have buttons like I have on. These are only $2. If you get these, you can wear them to the grocery store. You can help let people know that this vote is coming up. Also, I would encourage you to pick up one of these bumper stickers. I'll be putting this on my car today, and I hope you will be doing the same thing. Now, for recent updates, some of you may know this, but it's fairly recent, and just a few days ago. As I said, this vote on August the 3rd in the Show Me State represents a moment of truth. A moment of truth not just for this state, but for the entire nation. It is going to decide freedom versus government control and government dependency. The liberals, like Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, and obviously our president, want to restructure America into a socialist society. I would have never dreamed it would come this fast, as we have all seen. But there are people that are like-minded to them who also want to stop what we are doing, and they have sued us. So if you hear about the lawsuit, don't be concerned. This happens in a lot of emotional, controversial proposals like this is. It's part of the process. We expected it to happen. We wouldn't be surprised if we get more of these lawsuits as well as misinformation. But just know it's part of the process. Don't be discouraged. We are confident that when we go to court, we will win this decision. They're trying to get it kicked off the ballot because they know they can't win at the polls, and so they are trying to do an end run around the legislature and around the people, and they're not going to get away with it. But stand with us, stay with us on this. This is a critical ideological war in this state and in this nation, but we are on the right side. We are on the side of freedom, and we will prevail. Please stand with us, visit the booth, volunteer, get your friends to vote. Thank you so much for being here today.